Hey friends, it's Dwight. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a great week. So today we're going to do a pour on a large canvas. It's a 30 by 40 canvas. And we're also going to be using only DecoArts Americana brand paints. That's for my puddle paints. Now I will be using Artist Loft Soft Body White and Artist Loft Soft Body Black. But basically the rest of the colors are going to be DecoArts Americana brand. Now these paints work really well for this type of pour. Now I started using these paints after I watched Melly D do some of these dump and swirls and other videos years and years ago. You can always reference her YouTube channel as well. So yeah, I'm going to be mixing these paints today, and I just want to make sure that you realize that I mix all my paints the same way, meaning I don't vary my formula. I do basically 1 part paint. It could be 3 to 6 parts Floetrol, drizzle of Liquitex pouring medium, and water to thin. Now, water to thin is really important. I get a lot of questions, and I hear a lot of people seem to be afraid of using water. In this pour, I will try to remember to show you how thin my paints are. But as I show on my t-shirt here, it's, thin your paints. I think that's going to look backwards. I was looking at the screen there as I did that. But anyway, yeah, just thin your paints. Sometimes people will say that when they do the dump and swirl, only little speckles come up once they're done. And what that says to me is their paints are too thick, especially the black paint. So remember, thin your paints and just experiment. Take notes, see what works, add more water, less water, depending on the results you have. So enough said, let's get started. And yeah, here we go. Okay, here we are. The paints are all mixed. Here is my 30 by 40 canvas. It's level and ready to go. The colors are basically in the order that I'm going to pour them in the colander today. And all of my colors are DecoArts Americana brand paints, except for my white right there, which is Artist Loft Soft Body White. And then my dump paint, which is black, is Artist Loft Soft Body Black. So all of these colors, they sort of have a neutrality to them. I started off with the blue and I mixed a little bit of that green, sort of like an olive green in there. And then I went to some more neutral colors, sort of like this brown or this tan. This is champagne. And then this is more of a richer brown color. And then there's sort of that green mint at the very end. That's going to go on top. So down to my left there is going to be my black dump paint, which is Artist Loft Soft Body Black, and then of course my colander. So before we wrap up here, I wanted to show you the consistency of the paint. Remember, water is your friend as long as you have Liquitex pouring medium, which acts as a binder. You can add water to your color. There you go. It's just kind of going in. It's not mounding. And that's the consistency that you want for these dump and swirls. Okay, guys, let's get started. Okay, here we are. I prepped the corners and edges, and we are going to get started here in just a moment. Thumbs up. Okay, now I placed my colander in the center of the canvas. Started with a little bit of that light blue, poured some white on top of that, as you can see, and then just started layering a little bit at a time. I was sort of hoping that the highlight of this pour would be these neutral colors. So I poured in that beautiful sort of olive green and then the dark blue on top. And then I added the neutrals. There's the champagne. A little bit of white there to lighten that up and to push some of the color out of the colander. There's that sort of mocha brownish color. Looks really pretty against that turquoise blue. And again, I'm just stacking the colors, finishing up most of these cups as I go. And I think that's it. Adding the white to the top there. Oop, forgot about the green. Sort of that mint green. Why I chose that color, I'm not really sure. I was looking for citron green and I couldn't find it, so I picked this green, sort of like a minty green. So double checking the consistencies of my black paint. I need to mix it up as it's been sitting there for a while. And then I just take the colander and get as much paint out in the center that I can. Like I've mentioned before, I pour off center because I'm going to be tilting to the lower left corner to start with. It's just a habit. You can actually tilt to any corner you'd like. Making sure the black paint does go over the puddle paint. Then I have this last long section to go. You see me moving it back and forth. I'm trying to direct the weight of the paint to the corner. Moving some of that weight back towards the center. And as you can see, the color is starting to come through. Drying off my hands so I don't drip. Gonna get up and put it on time lapse. And you can just see the color starting to come through, which is really kind of cool. That green and sort of that blue really came through. Okay guys, hold on. Okay guys, here I am with the initial wet walkthrough. Actually, I'm quite pleased with this. I love the blue and the neutral colors. And you know, that green took over more than I thought it would, but that's okay. So yeah, it's pretty, a lot of details here. This is the wet walkthrough, but you can just see all the pearls. I really do like it. Now, guess what that is there? That's the negative space. And you know me, this negative space has some really nice pearls, cells in there, but sorry for the glare, but I'm gonna go in and clean these up a little bit. Just, you know, there's a lot more than it looks like through here. I just wanna clean it up. And there's a chance I may dot these pearls as well. I haven't done that in a while, but I really want to pull your eye in. So there's a lot of work on this. We'll see if it dries overnight, and then I'll get in here and I will video this for you. You know, take out this edge, just round some of these pearls, and we'll put some dots in them. Okay, so we'll just wait and see, and then I'll show you the dried results. Okay guys, I am back here in my studio. It is the next day. And this is all dried, and I have a lot of work to do in here. I will show you what we're looking at. So it dried very interesting. I think it will look much better once it's varnished, because I've had situations like this before. I'm not really sure what causes this, and also sort of this the different pattern. I tend to think it might be Floetrol because I've used these paints before. These are mostly DecoArts Americana paints, and I haven't had this problem. So no big deal. This is gonna take a long time. So we're gonna go in, clean all this all through here, trim these up, make these nice and round all through there. And then I'm gonna go through and start dotting the centers of the cells. Not these here, because they've already got some color, but some of these here just to make them more cohesive. And yeah, guys, I'm gonna set my camera up. I'm just gonna put this on time lapse because it's gonna take me probably an hour or so to get done. But yeah, then I'll show you the end results. Hey friends, here I am doing the touch-ups. I did this on time lapse because it took me about an hour and a half. I think it's really important that you can go in and trim back cells. You can make them more round, you can make them more appealing. But I think that works best around the negative space because that's where your eyes are drawn. So I'm just going through, I didn't take any pearls out. I just trimmed them to make them round. And then as you see here in just a moment, I started dotting them just to make them stand out a little bit more. And it really changed the look of this painting, which I'll show you in just a moment. Okay guys, here we are about ready to do the final dried results walkthrough. But first I want to show you this piece I did. It's sort of a pearl pour. I had a few pearls, but this is for commission. I mentioned in previous videos. There are the other two over there, and I'm looking forward to showing these and bringing them over to their new owner. But here's the task at hand. Here is the pour that we did and the touch-ups. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see that the touch-ups make it look nice and sharp and clear. Still kind of organic and not too perfect. The edge is nice and clean, as you can see there. And I kept all the cells. I didn't take any of the cells out of here. So I'm really happy with how this turned out on this 30 by 40 canvas. The colors are really beautiful. sort of the greens and the blues look really nice with the highlight of the white and the champagne color and that dark blue as well. Okay, friends, thanks for watching, and we'll probably see you again this weekend. Have a great rest of the week.